The massive screen in the United Earth Defense Force headquarters lit up without warning, casting an eerie blue glow across the command center. Commander James Stone stood frozen, his coffee cup halfway to his lips, as an alien face appeared before them. The alien looked almost human, but not quite. Its skin was too smooth, its eyes too large, and its voice carried an unnatural echo as it spoke. People of Earth, I am High Speaker Marcus of the Galactic Council. Your primitive world has drawn our attention. Stone placed his coffee down slowly, exchanging glances with General Roberts beside him. They had prepared for first contact for decades, but not like this. Not with such open contempt in the alien's voice. Our studies show your species is prone to warfare, violence, and emotional decision-making. Marcus continued, his large eyes narrowing. The Council has decided Earth requires immediate supervision and control. You have 48 Earth hours to submit to Council authority. The command center erupted in whispers. Stone stepped forward, his military training kicking in. This is Commander James Stone of the United Earth Defense Force. We request time to consult with our world leaders before. You misunderstand. Commander, Marcus cut him off. This is not a negotiation. It is an ultimatum. Submit or face the consequences. The screen went dark, leaving the room in stunned silence. Over the next hour, similar messages played across every screen on Earth. Panic spread through cities. Markets crashed. Religious leaders called for calm. Military bases worldwide went on high alert. In the underground war room beneath Washington, D.C., Stone faced the hastily assembled World Security Council. They're trying to frighten us into submission, he reported, standing before the gathered leaders. Their timing is deliberate, giving us just enough time to panic, but not enough to properly prepare. What do we know about their military capabilities? Asked the Chinese president, her face grave. Stone pulled up the sensor readings they'd gathered during the transmission. Their signal came from a fleet of ships just beyond Mars. We count at least 30 vessels, each larger than anything we've ever built. But, he paused, highlighting several data points. But what, Commander? The American president leaned forward. Their quantum signatures are ordinary. Nothing we haven't seen in our own experimental ships. Stone's eyes met Dr. Anna Wells across the room. She gave him a slight nod, confirming his assessment. The Indian Prime Minister spoke up. Are you suggesting we could resist? I'm suggesting we might have a fighting chance, Stone replied. Dr. Wells. Anna Wells, Earth's leading quantum physicist, stepped forward. Her plain lab coat and simple appearance betrayed nothing of the brilliant mind beneath. The quantum shielding technology we developed last year. It's more advanced than what their ships are showing. They don't know about it because we've kept it hidden in underground facilities. The room grew quiet as the implications sank in. So we have two choices, Stone continued. Submit to alien rule, becoming another conquered species in their empire. Or, he straightened his uniform. We show them humanity won't bow to threats. The Russian president stood up. They expect us to be primitive savages. Perhaps it's time to show them how primitive we really are. One by one, the world leaders voted. For the first time in human history, Earth stood truly united. They had 40 hours left to prepare their response. Stone walked the quiet halls afterward, the weight of history on his shoulders. He stopped at the observation deck, looking up at the stars. Somewhere up there, the Council fleet waited, expecting an easy victory over a primitive species. He smiled slightly. Humanity had survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and its own destructive nature. They had clawed their way up from caves to the stars through sheer determination and grit. No alien empire would take that away without a fight. His communicator beeped. Dr. Wells had messaged him. Quantum shields at 100% capacity. All tests successful. Stone took one last look at the stars. The Council thought they were dealing with savages. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or technology, but in their fierce, unbreakable will to remain free. The battle for Earth's independence was about to begin. Dr. Anna Wells worked quickly in her underground laboratory, her fingers flying across multiple screens. Around her, teams of scientists checked and rechecked their quantum shield systems. They had less than 30 hours before the Council's deadline. "Run the simulation again," she ordered, pushing her glasses back up her nose. The massive screen before them showed a virtual model of Earth's defense grid. Blue lines of energy connected their hidden satellites, forming a protective web around the planet. The door slid open, and Commander Stone walked in. "How are we doing, Doctor?" "Better than expected," Anna replied, not looking up from her work. "The Council's scans can't detect our quantum technology because they're looking for the wrong things. It's like they're trying to find a car by looking for horse tracks." Stone watched the simulation complete another cycle. "Will it hold against their weapons?" "It'll do more than hold." Anna finally turned to face him. "Their ships are using outdated quantum field technology. It's like they stopped innovating centuries ago. Maybe that's what happens when you think you're superior to everyone else." Alarms suddenly blared through the facility. One of the younger scientists, Mike, called out from his station. "Council ships are moving. 3 vessels breaking from their main fleet." Stone and Anna rushed to the main display. 3 red dots were heading toward Earth. "They're early," Stone muttered. "The deadline isn't for another 29 hours. Anna's fingers danced across the controls. "They're scanning us, looking for defensive installations." A small smile played across her face. "They can't see anything. Our quantum masking is working perfectly." The Council ships moved closer, their confidence clear in their direct approach. On the surface, Earth appeared completely defenseless. "Commander Stone to all stations." Stone spoke into his communicator. "Maintain radio silence. Let them think we're still arguing about their ultimatum." The 3 alien ships entered low Earth orbit. Their scanning beams intensified, sweeping across major cities. "They're trying to scare us," Anna said, watching the data streams, "showing off their power before the deadline." Stone nodded. "Classic intimidation tactic. But they've just made their first mistake." "How so?" "They've shown us exactly how their scanning technology works." Stone turned to the team. "Record everything. Every frequency, every pattern. When the real battle comes, this information will be priceless." The next few hours were tense but productive, while the Council ships patrolled overhead, thinking they were terrorizing a helpless planet. Earth's scientists studied their every move. Anna made breakthrough after breakthrough. "Their quantum fields are predictable," she explained to Stone later in her office. "They follow fixed patterns. They never develop the adaptive algorithms we use." She pulled up a complex diagram. "Look here. Their shields can only handle one type of attack at a time. They compensate for energy weapons or physical impacts, but not both simultaneously." Stone leaned closer. "Can we use that?" "We already are." Anna brought up another screen showing Earth's defensive grid. "I've updated our shields to be unpredictable. Random quantum fluctuations on multiple frequencies. Even if they detect our shields, they won't be able to find a pattern to exploit." The Council ships finally withdrew, rejoining their main fleet. They had put on their show of force, unaware that they had just helped Earth prepare for the coming battle. In the command center, Stone addressed the world's military leaders. "The Council thinks they're dealing with scared primitives. They expect us to either surrender or try something desperate and disorganized." He brought up the data they'd gathered. "Instead, we'll give them a carefully planned surprise. Dr. Wells and her team have turned their own arrogance into a weapon we can use against them." Around the world, hidden facilities hummed with power as quantum shields were fine-tuned. Military personnel quietly moved into position. Surface-to-space weapons were disguised using the new quantum masking technology. Earth was ready, not just to defend, but to strike back. In her lab, Anna watched the final simulations complete successfully. The quantum shields were operating beyond even her expectations. She thought about the Council's dismissive message, their assumption of superiority. "They think we're primitive," she said softly to herself. They're about to learn that humanity's greatest strength is our ability to innovate, to adapt, to overcome. The countdown to the Council's deadline continued, but now Earth waited with confidence rather than fear. The Council's deadline arrived with the rising sun. Admiral Rex stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the blue planet with cold confidence. His massive fleet hung in space like dark stars, weapons primed and ready. These primitives had their chance, he said to his crew. Now they'll learn what happens to species that defy the Council. His scaled fingers tapped the command console. Open a channel to Earth. In the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, Commander Stone watched the alien admiral appear on screen. Unlike High Speaker Marcus, Admiral Rex made no attempt to look friendly. His face was hard and cruel. Your time is up, Rex announced. What is Earth's answer? Stone stepped forward, standing straight and proud. Earth's answer is no. We will not submit to threats or bullying. Rex's lips curled into what might have been a smile. As expected from primitives, you choose extinction over enlightenment. He raised his hand. All ships, begin the attack. Show them the power off. The Admiral's words cut off as Stone ended the transmission. All stations, execute Operation Shield Wall, he ordered calmly. Around the planet, hidden quantum generators powered up. Dr. Anna Wells watched from her control station as the defensive grid came online. Quantum shields at full power, she reported. They still can't detect them. The Council fleet opened fire. Hundreds of energy beams struck Earth's atmosphere and vanished into nothing. The quantum shields absorbed every shot, leaving not even a spark to show they had hit anything. Admiral Rex stared in disbelief. Impossible. He smashed his fist on his console. All ships, increase power. Full barrage. The Council ships fired everything they had. The space around Earth lit up like 1,000 suns. For 5 minutes straight, they poured enough firepower to crack a planet. When the barrage ended, Earth floated unchanged. Not a single shot had penetrated the quantum shields. In her lab, Anna allowed herself a small smile. Shield strength holding at 98%. The energy absorption systems are working perfectly. She looked at her team. Would anyone like to see what we can do with all that absorbed energy? Commander Stone nodded. Show them what happens when they underestimate humanity. Anna pressed a series of commands. The absorbed energy from the Council's attack flowed through the quantum grid, gathering at key points around the planet. Then, with perfect precision, it shot back into space. 12 Council ships never saw it coming. Their outdated shields failed instantly against their own energy, redirected and focused by Earth's quantum technology. The ships exploded in silent bursts of light. Admiral Rex watched in horror as a quarter of his fleet vanished in seconds. Fall back, he screamed. All ships, retreat to safe distance. The Council fleet scrambled to withdraw, their perfect formation breaking apart in panic. They had expected to find a primitive world with primitive defenses. Instead, they had found something they had never seen before. In the aftermath, Stone addressed the emergency meeting of Earth's leaders. The Council now knows we're not defenseless, he said, but they don't know our full capabilities yet. Dr. Wells. Anna stepped forward. We've learned more about their technology from this battle. Their ships use standardized systems. They're all built the same way, with the same weaknesses. In their arrogance, they never expected to face a serious challenge. The American president leaned forward. Can we take the fight to them? Yes, Stone answered. Thanks to Dr. Wells and her team, we now have ships ready to launch. Ships they can't detect, with weapons they can't defend against. Around the room, the world leaders shared determined looks. The Council had expected Earth to break under their first attack. Instead, humanity had stood firm and struck back. In his flagship, Admiral Rex prepared to report his failure to the Council. He looked at the battle footage again, trying to understand what had happened. How had these primitives developed technology that surpassed the Council's? He didn't know it yet, but this was just the beginning. Humanity was done playing defense. Operation Thunderstrike was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. Operation Thunderstrike began 3 days after Earth's successful defense. 10 sleek Earth ships, hidden by quantum technology, slipped past the retreating Council fleet. Commander Stone stood on the bridge of the lead vessel, the Thunderchild, watching the stars streak by. All ships reporting ready, his communications officer said. Quantum shields at full power. The Council still hasn't detected us. Stone nodded, remembering Dr. Wells' last words before launch. Their arrogance is our greatest weapon, she had said. They'll never expect an attack from the primitives they just failed to defeat. The Earth fleet's first target was the Council's primary defense station in the Proxima system. It was a massive structure, bristling with weapons, but its security was focused on detecting conventional ships and drives. They're about to learn that humanity doesn't play by their rules, Stone said to his crew. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta. The 10 Earth vessels dropped out of quantum stealth simultaneously, appearing from nowhere around the station. Before the Council forces could react, precise energy beams, powered by the same quantum technology that had protected Earth, struck key points on the station. The station's shields failed instantly, its weapons powered down. In less than 2 minutes, humanity had captured the Council's strongest defensive position without destroying it. Send the message, Stone ordered. On the station's command deck, the Council commander watched in shock as human troops teleported in using quantum transport technology. They moved with practiced efficiency, securing the station without firing a shot. Back on the Thunderchild, Stone received the confirmation. Station secured, minimal resistance. Council forces are surrendering. Good. Prepare for Phase 2. Over the next 12 hours, Earth's fleet struck 4 more defense stations. Each attack followed the same pattern: appear from nowhere, disable key systems, capture the station intact. The Council's carefully maintained image of invincibility crumbled with each success. Dr. Wells coordinated the attacks from Earth, using the data from each captured station to improve their tactical advantage. Their entire defense network uses the same outdated quantum protocols, she reported to Stone. They never upgraded because they never thought they needed to. At the 5th station, they found something unexpected. Council ships being built with stolen technology from other species. Stone ordered everything documented. The galaxy needs to see how the Council maintains its power, he said. The Council's response was chaos. Their fleet scrambled to defend key positions, but they couldn't fight an enemy they couldn't detect. Earth's ships appeared and disappeared at will, striking with surgical precision. Admiral Rex, still smarting from his defeat at Earth, received frantic calls for help from across Council space. Impossible, he raged. These primitives were throwing rocks at each other just centuries ago. How are they doing this? The answer came from humanity's most powerful weapon, the truth. From each captured station, Earth broadcast evidence of the Council's crimes. Records of conquered species, stolen technologies, and suppressed civilizations spread across the galaxy. Stone watched the reports flow in. More Council stations were surrendering without a fight. Several Council member species, impressed by humanity's strength and mercy, were declaring their independence. Commander, his tactical officer called out. New contacts approaching. Ships from the Bright Ones, one of the Council's oldest member species. The Bright One ships approached under a flag of peace. Their message was simple: we wish to learn from humanity. You have done what we feared to do for millennia. Stand up to the Council's tyranny. Stone allowed himself a small smile. Operation Thunderstrike wasn't just about military victory. It was about showing the galaxy a better way. Humanity had proven they could fight, but more importantly, they had proven they could win without becoming as cruel as their enemies. In her lab on Earth, Dr. Wells received the latest data from the captured stations. She began work on integrating their technology with Earth's innovations. The Council thought they were the peak of evolution, she mused. They forgot that true strength comes from constant growth and adaptation. The battle wasn't over, but the tide had turned. Humanity had moved from defending Earth to reshaping the galaxy, one station at a time. And they were just getting started. Ambassador Tom Reed walked into the Great Hall of the Galactic Council with confident steps. Behind him, floating screens showed Earth's fleet continuing its successful campaign across Council space. The circular chamber, filled with representatives from 100 species, buzzed with nervous energy. High Speaker Marcus no longer looked smooth and superior. His face showed strain as he called the emergency session to order. The humans have been invited to explain their acts of aggression against the Council, he announced. Reed stepped to the center of the chamber. Aggression. His voice was calm, but carried to every corner. Let's talk about real aggression. He gestured, and new images appeared on the screens. The images showed Council ships attacking peaceful worlds. Documents detailed how the Council had stolen technology from developing species. Records revealed centuries of manipulation and control. We found these in your defense stations, Reed continued. The same stations you use to maintain your power through fear. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many representatives shifted uncomfortably, seeing their own species' histories of oppression displayed. The representative of the Bright Ones, a tall beam of shimmering light named Dawn, stood up. The humans speak truth. We have watched silently for too long as the Council twisted its mission from protection to control. High Speaker Marcus slammed his hand down. These are lies. Earth is trying to destroy the peace we've maintained for millennia. Peace. Reed's voice cut through the chamber. Let's ask the species you've peacefully conquered. He turned to the gathering. How many of you joined the Council because you were given a choice between submission or destruction? The silence that followed was deafening. Then, one by one, representatives began to stand. The Council took our mining technology, said one. They banned us from developing space travel, said another. They called us primitives and stole our world's resources, a third added. Dawn moved to stand beside Reed. The humans have shown us something remarkable, not just advanced technology, but the courage to use power with wisdom. They could have destroyed the stations they captured. Instead, they showed mercy. Dr. Wells, attending the session through a quantum hologram, added her voice. We've examined the technology in those stations. The Council has been suppressing innovation, keeping member species dependent. They fear advancement because they fear losing control. The chamber erupted in angry shouts. Centuries of resentment boiled over. More representatives moved to stand with Reed and Dawn, forming a growing coalition against the Council's leadership. High Speaker Marcus watched his power crumbling. Without the Council, there will be chaos. We maintain order. No, Reed replied firmly. You maintain control. There's a difference. He turned to address the chamber. Earth proposes a new way forward. Not a council that rules through fear, but a federation that grows through cooperation. He gestured to the screens, which now showed Earth's quantum shield technology. We're willing to share our advancements, to help other species develop their own innovations, to build a galaxy where strength comes from working together, not from domination. Dawn's light brightened. The Bright Ones support this vision. We offer our knowledge and resources to this new federation. More species joined them. The Council's power structure, built on fear and suppression, collapsed in the face of hope and cooperation. High Speaker Marcus and his loyal supporters found themselves increasingly isolated. The evidence of their crimes was too clear to deny. Back on Earth, Commander Stone watched the Council session through a quantum feed. It's working, he said to his crew. The galaxy is choosing a better path. Dr. Wells nodded. The Council's greatest mistake wasn't attacking Earth. It was believing that keeping others down would keep them on top. Ambassador Reed's voice rang through the chamber one final time. The age of the Council's tyranny is over. Let's build something better together. Not an empire of fear, but a federation of equals. The revolution wasn't won with weapons, but with truth. Humanity had not just defended itself, it had sparked hope across the galaxy. The real work of building a better future was about to begin. High Speaker Marcus stood in a secret chamber deep within the Council's hidden base, his face lit by the red glow of emergency lights. Admiral Rex and the remaining loyal Council leaders gathered around a massive weapon, the Planet Killer, their last resort. "We built this to maintain order," Marcus said, his voice shaking with rage. "If we can't rule the galaxy, we'll show them what happens to those who defy us." On Earth, Dr. Wells burst into the command center, her face pale. "Commander Stone, our quantum sensors just detected something massive powering up in the Centauri sector." Stone turned from his tactical display. "What is it?" "It's like nothing we've seen before. The energy readings." She pulled up the data. "They're trying to create a controlled quantum collapse, a weapon that could tear a planet apart." Stone's face hardened. "How long do we have?" 20 minutes at most. They're targeting Earth." The Thunderchild and Earth's fleet were scattered across the galaxy, too far to help. But Stone smiled, which made his officers look at him in surprise. "Dr. Wells," he said calmly, "remember what you told me about their arrogance, about how they always use the same quantum frequencies." Her eyes widened. "The weapon, it must use their standard quantum protocols." Her fingers flew across the console. "If we can send a modified version of our shield frequency through their own network, can you do it in time? Watch me." In the hidden base, Marcus watched the Planet Killer's power levels rise. "Earth thinks they're so clever with their quantum tricks. Let's see how their shields handle a weapon that can crack their planet's core." Admiral Rex studied the readouts. Energy at 60% and climbing. 10 minutes to firing sequence. But something was wrong. Warning lights began flashing across their consoles. The weapon's quantum field was fluctuating. "What's happening?" Marcus demanded. Rex's hands moved frantically over the controls. "Something's interfering with the quantum matrix. It's like our own energy is being turned against us." Dr. Wells' voice came through their speakers, making them jump. "Trying to use quantum collapse. That's dangerous science if you don't understand the principles properly." Marcus snarled. "How are you in our systems?" "The same way we got into your defense stations. You never change your quantum frequencies. Never innovate. Never adapt." The Planet Killer's energy readings went critical. But instead of focusing on Earth, the quantum collapse began affecting the Council's own ships. "Shut it down," Rex screamed. "Too late," Wells replied. "The collapse is following your own quantum network. Basic physics. Energy follows the path of least resistance." Stone's voice joined hers. "You have 5 minutes to evacuate your forces. We've calculated the blast radius. Get your people out." Marcus stared at the screens in disbelief. "You're warning us." "Why?" "Because that's what civilized species do," Stone answered. "We protect life, even the lives of our enemies. Now go." Council ships fled in panic as their own weapon began to tear itself apart. The hidden base shuddered as quantum energy rippled through its structure. From the Thunderchild's bridge, Stone watched the evacuation. "All Council personnel clear?" he asked. "Confirmed," his tactical officer replied. They made it to safe distance. The Planet Killer exploded in a spectacular burst of quantum energy, taking the Council's base with it. But thanks to Earth's warning, no lives were lost. In the aftermath, Marcus and Rex found their ships surrounded by Earth's fleet and vessels from the newly formed Federation. "Your weapon failed." Stone's voice came through clearly. "Your base is destroyed. Your allies have abandoned you. Surrender, and you'll receive a fair trial for your crimes." Marcus looked at his shattered forces, at the wreckage of his secret base, and at the ships of species he had once dominated now standing against him. All his pride, all his plans, destroyed not just by Earth's superior technology, but by their superior humanity. "We surrender," he said quietly. Dr. Wells watched the scene from Earth, her team around her. They never understood, she said. True strength isn't about having the biggest weapons. It's about knowing when not to use them. The galaxy would never forget this day, not because of the weapon's destruction, but because humanity had shown that true power comes with mercy. 1 year after the Planet Killer incident, the Great Hall that once housed the Galactic Council looked very different. Gone were the towering thrones of the council leaders. Instead, representatives from all species sat at a circular table, symbolizing their equality. Commander Stone stood at the podium, addressing the first official gathering of the new Galactic Federation. The Earth officer's uniform now bore the additional insignia of Federation Defense Command. 1 year ago, we faced a choice, he began. Submit to tyranny or fight for freedom. But we found a third option, to build something better together. Dr. Wells sat among the Federation's new Science Council, where she led the initiative to share technology across species. The quantum innovations that had saved Earth now protected 100 worlds. The latest reports show remarkable progress, she announced to the gathering. Worlds that were once held back by council restrictions have made incredible advances. The Bright Ones have combined their light-based technology with our quantum systems, creating new possibilities for exploration. Ambassador Reed, now serving as Earth's Federation representative, stood to speak. But our greatest achievement isn't technological. It's the trust we've built between species. The chamber's screen showed images from across the galaxy, Earth ships helping former Council worlds rebuild, joint scientific missions, new trade routes between once isolated species. The fear that had kept the Council in power had been replaced by cooperation and hope. Dawn of the Bright Ones glowed with approval. The humans showed us that true civilization isn't measured by the weapons we possess, but by how we choose to use our power. In a secure facility on a Federation Justice world, former High Speaker Marcus and Admiral Rex awaited their trial. They would face charges not just from Earth, but from every species they had oppressed. The defendants will receive full legal representation, Reed had insisted. We won't repeat the Council's mistakes by denying rights to anyone, even our former enemies. Back in the Federation chamber, Stone continued his address. We've discovered something remarkable this year. Every species has unique strengths, unique ways of seeing the universe. When we work together, share our knowledge, we all grow stronger. Dr. Wells activated a holographic display showing the Federation's expanded quantum defense network. This system was built with contributions from 12 different species. It's more advanced than anything Earth or the Council could have created alone. The new Federation headquarters orbited a neutral star, built through the combined efforts of member worlds. Its design incorporated architecture and technology from dozens of civilizations, creating something entirely new. But our work isn't finished, Stone reminded them. There are still worlds recovering from Council rule, still species taking their first steps into space, who deserve the chance to grow without fear. The Federation had established new protocols for contacting developing civilizations. No more ultimatums or threats. Instead, they would offer guidance and protection, allowing each species to develop at its own pace. Dawn's light pulsed gently. The humans have an expression that has become dear to us. A rising tide lifts all boats. By helping others grow, we all advance. The chamber filled with approving sounds from 100 different species. The Federation's success had proven that cooperation was stronger than conquest. Dr. Wells shared the latest scientific breakthrough, a new form of quantum communication that would allow instant contact across the galaxy. Every member world contributed to this discovery, she said proudly. It's proof that we're better together. As the session ended, Stone looked out at the stars through the chamber's crystal dome. Earth was out there, one point of light among many, no longer alone in the universe. We came to the stars expecting to find enemies, he said quietly to Wells and Reed. Instead, we found the chance to build something greater than ourselves. The galaxy was entering a new age. The Council's reign of fear was over, replaced by a Federation built on Earth's most powerful discovery. That true strength comes not from dominating others, but from helping them rise. Humanity had not just survived its first contact with galactic civilization. It had helped transform it into something better. The stars now held not threat, but promise, and they faced the promise together.